Hi, my name's Bora Yoon, and I create a lot of experimental soundscapes, kind of electro acoustic instruments. So a lot of very old, a lot of different technologies from different times, and just kind of hodgepodge them all together by putting pickups on them, putting them through different effects, and building different composites from that. So I use a lot of different found sounds that have pitches and things, and I've started to think about the different timbres and textures of pitches. So whether it's an elongated tone versus an attack that dies versus something that has a hard ending that's a reverse hit like shh, and thinking about as I sing and play viola and play cell phones and gramophones and radios and metronomes and things that make sound and make sense together to me. And so one of the things in my artillery of doing this, I realized that I was starting to miss some low end and beat architecture, essentially, some rhythmic architecture. And so I set out to kind of design an instrument to address missing that in the frequency register and also in a rhythmic sense. And so because I'm as a singer and as a string player, I know a lot of your lyrical lines, and so I was thinking, like, you know, what can I have in terms of software and hardware? I've always tried to avoid using too much software on stage or having a laptop on stage, because it kind of looks like you're just on MySpace the whole time. It's not very performative. And so even though that means I schlep around probably far more pounds of stuff, I have always tried to keep, you know, something visually activated to how I make music or where the sound comes from, so the audience can follow that. So for this low end sound, I was really looking for, you know, I was working with Lemur, which is a really great group of artists in Brooklyn. They're a league of electronic musicians and urban robots, led by Eric Singer, and they make many different musical robots with different kind of, they make bots and trons. Bots are musical instruments that are hit or struck or plucked or played, and trons are interfaces that receive the signals to deploy the bots. And so I set out when I was doing my residency with them to pretty much enable myself or empower myself with a better to create an instrument, essentially, to address what I was missing. And I really wanted something that was percussive and something that was lower end, and basically I wanted like a really huge subwoofer hit. And I kept thinking about what is the most performative way to get that across. Would it be like, definitely we don't want it to be a button. Do I want it to be like a ribbon or a knob, or do I want it to be, you know, all the different ways you interact to create the sound? I couldn't find the right one. I'm like, yeah, it's just so simple. I just literally want to be able to like hit myself and have the sound come out. And so I thought about, you know, I'm just like, I just really want this kind of tactile motion. And what I came up with was what already existed is Swedish spoons. So God love the Swedes and their folkloricness. And as an acoustic instrument, that's probably how you all know them. You know, just from various Norwegian or Scandinavian songs. And to me, it just creates the perfect kind of interface for a big hit that measures velocity on an up and a down, because I don't want just a hit, like a computer hit, but something that actually has a subdivision. So I thought about the up interface and the down interface. And so from here, we just took the natural movement of how hard I might hit this and stuck an old violin pickup that I had, which is essentially a small metal piece that normally goes in between here on the bridge to pick up a violin. It was an old version of that that I kind of just ended up wrapping around here and created an 1/8 inch adapter for, and plugged this into an audio interface. And the wonderful guys at Lemur made a patch, a Max MSP patch by Cycling 74, something that basically processes the information of the hit, of how hard I initially attack and what the decay is, and all the information, the numbers get spit out from my attack and then get processed in Max and then get spit out basically as a large subwoofer tone. So that once it goes through would sound more like So it's like having a small German industrial rave in your hands. So that's essentially what I kind of set out to do and started to compose around this sound. As a sound artist, I usually find something that's really compelling to create a piece around. And for me, that was a sound that I had imagined that was a sound that was absent. It was almost like playing Battleship with sounds and being like, which one is not there? And like, that one. So I set out to create it and found it, and then I started to dream, you know, like what timbre-wise would fit in there, and you know, what kind of soundscape, what kind of mood or color do I want to create from there. And so a piece that came to me when I was traveling, it was a melody that came to me when I was in Thailand, in Bangkok. So I think this is eventually going to be entitled Bangkok or something along those lines. But to me, as a sonic image, it's a very dark evening breeze.